Hi guys, what's up? I'm mixing a bit, and well, this is my first class. Yay! I mean, getting a lot of questions lately that I should create more classes for people that would love to learn FL Studio. Though I'm happy to tell you that I'm working on that right now, and it will be on Telegram. And the criteria of it is it to be a month stuff, so you'll be subscribing for a month, and it's just for 3,000 naira. You subscribe for a month, and you would have a lot of free lectures, plugins, anything you think of that deals with FL Studio alone, please. I don't do other DAW. I'm so sorry about that. But seriously, also you could learn from this DAW and apply to the DAW you're using. Doesn't matter. It's just the same technique all over and over again. So yeah, today I'll be talking about how to add plugins because that is the most frequent question I get a lot. Like people don't differentiate the difference between the plugin and the percussions. Yeah, for example, if you want to add plugins on FL Studio, you just go to options, you go to manage plugins, then it opens directory like this dialog. Please, it's gonna take a while to load because I have a lot of plugins on my system. Yeah, it's done. So you have this dialog here. Now this is the dialog where people mix up things. For this place, if you install a plugin, that is when you'll be using this dialog. But if you're trying to install with percussions, like all this percussion sounds, like you get, it's a different procedure. Let me just show you that. If you want to add that, you go to File Settings. Now, in this dialog here, you see Browse extra search folders. You just click on the button here and add the folder where you have those with percussions. But in this time around, I'm talking about plugins. So, still using the same file option now. Just click on Manage Plugins, then it will show this dialog. So I please don't mix things up here and let this load so I would explain this dialog in full. Now some people do complain that whenever they install their plugins they don't see it. Yeah, it's because you did not set some preferences here and that is why you did not see the plugin. So let me start with the first here. This is start scan. What this means is it scans your system for plugins you've installed on your system. Now this verify plugins. We have two types of plugins. We have the effect and the synth. So if you eventually don't turn this on and you click on start scan, it will just mumble everything up and put effects where synth is supposed to be and put synths where effects supposed to be. So that's why sometimes people will be like they are loading some plugins not loading properly because you did not verify the plugin. So FL Studio doesn't know whether it's a synth or it's an effect. Now this option icon here shows look at FL Studio search folder, FL Studio folder, because FL Studio has their own plugin. So this is the default. I don't tamper with that. You can leave that alone. Now plugin search paths. This is where the magic happens. Sometimes you install plugins and you be like you scan, you don't find it here. The problem is because the plugin has created a folder by itself and installed somewhere else. So what you just need to do is you have to select the folder of where the plugin is installed. Sometimes people forget and they don't know the folder, so it's better you just install the plugin and create a folder yourself. And you understand, you know what I mean. Create the folder and install in that folder. So when you install in that folder, you just select it here. Like for example, select it here and locate the folder in the directory here. It's just as easy as that. Now this scan options, sometimes people do complain that it takes a while for their plugin to like scan. Yeah, I know what that feels like. Now this first option is rescan previously verified plugins. What this means is any plugin you've installed and you've selected before, like this Blood Overdrive now, I've selected it as a favorite plugin. And this is our favorite plugin here. You select it here. So once you mark this, it will show in your directory. So once you've selected this plugin now, for example, now if you have this active here and you press start scan, it automatically scans those plugin again. So it will take a longer period of time if you have 1,000 plugins or more. So that is what that does. And rescan plugin with errors. Sometimes you can see these errors here. Look at it. You have these errors a lot. Yeah. So these plugins that are having errors now, it's possibly maybe they are 64-bit plugins or they are not properly installed. So if you click on that, it automatically scan this all over again. And if you have 1,000 of this, you know what that means. So let me just go back to that. Let me just go to the next one. Try prevent pop-up windows. Now this plugin with errors would eventually start showing pop-up windows, like maybe something is missing on your computer, and stuff like that, and a lot like that. So what you just need to do is you click on this. So whenever it's scanning, it blocks those errors, and it won't take your time to start clicking, because it's always annoying clicking those error pop-ups. Yeah, stuff like that. And combine VST and VST3. VST can also be VST2 plugin. So what does is it combines these two versions of the plugins together, and it's loaded as a single plugin. It doesn't have a much to do. I don't really know what that does though, but it doesn't really have much effect, so I don't activate that. Combine 32 and 64-bit plugins. Yeah, this is where the real error comes in. Some people don't know the bit of their operating system. The bit of your operating system is the architecture of which your CPU runs. You understand? So some CPU have the capability to run 32 and 64 bits. Some has capability to run only 32 bits. So if you install a 64-bit OS on your system, you have the possibility to run 32 bits and 64 bits. Sometimes some people do complain that 32 bits don't run on their system, so it's better you just run 64 bits on your system and run 64 bits plugins on your system. Also goes to 32 bits. Me, I use 32 bit because I just love 32 bit. I don't know why. I just like it because sometimes if I run 64-bit and I try to load some plugins, it starts giving misbehaving and stuff like that. So I just use 32-bit. So what this does is, if you have this active, it will combine 64-bit and 32-bit plugin, and there whereby you have some setup installations that they install 64-bit and 32-bit together on your system. So FLstudio will automatically pick those two and join them together, and when you're trying to run it, you start having issues. So sometimes I don't combine that. So because 64 bits don't run on 32 bits, but 64 bits can run both 32 bits and 64. So I hope you get that right. And here we have always on top. Sometimes you might click on this little stubborn guy here. I'm coming. Let me see. This little stubborn guy here, and this thing stays hidden at the back of your flstudio. So it's always very annoying sometimes. So that's why you have this always on top. So once I click on this, it will just always pop up on flstudio. And what else here? Yeah, we have the name, status, format, beats, effort, synth, vendor, and file name. You should know what this is. This status means is the plugin, maybe the plugin is okay or is having an error. This format, oh, that is my keyboard, sorry about that. This format is FLstudio, FLstudio, FLstudio. Okay, it's just like FL, VST. This is VST plugin. Sorry, I think, okay, yeah, I have my sampler pad. My phone is on my sampler pad. Sorry about that. So this is VST plugins, and this is FL native plugins. So that is just what I'm trying to tell you. Beats, look at it, 32-bit, 32-bit. If I have a 64-bit plugin, for example, look at it, 64-bit plugin here, this won't work on my system. It will just automatically show you the plugin is active, but it won't work. Now this is to show whether it's a synth or an effect. Don't forget, put on these verify plugins before you start scanning. Now the vendor is the maker of the plugin, stuff like that. I think you should understand that. And this also find the way the plugin is installed on your system, so the name, the attributes, and everything is carrying. So this is what this is all about. So this find is just like look at plugins. For example, I'm looking for virtual mix track, so I'll click on virtual, look at it, so I'll have virtual mix track. So it's very easy to find plugins and select them here. So I guess that is that for that. Yeah, and one final tip. Sometimes you might install some plugins and they are showing errors. It's very, very, very certain. Some plugins are so stubborn that they will just keep on showing error. So what you just need to do is you need to specify what kind of plugin it is. If you see it here, it's writing question mark. Like it doesn't know whether it's a synth or an effect. So once you select it, you click on this plugin here and you select here what is Ozone 8. Ozone 8 is an effect. So I'll click on effect and I'll click on apply changes. So automatically press OK. Look at it. So now you just click on this place here to add it to your directory. So Let me do one more time. So for example, I'm having this vintage tape now. So I'll just select plugin, select here, select effect, select apply changes. So automatically press OK and it brings out the attribute of the plugin. So it's just for plugins that have errors. So sometimes you might install some plugins. Let me repeat this again, and it doesn't show in this search scan. You just go to this place here and add a folder here and select that directory where you install the plugin and press OK. That's all. So I think you find this tutorial helpful. You can also join my masterclass. Please don't forget. I beg you in the name of God, support my mission. Join my masterclass. It's just as cheap as 3,000 naira, and you renew that every month. And so I will throw lectures twice a week, starting from scratch. Not I'm jumping anything. If you don't understand anything, you can DM me directly. Follow me on Instagram. I'm X on the Beat. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Yeah, and besides, before I forget, FL Studio 20 has a different um, plugin picker. The one is white. I wish I could show you that but I will need to install FL Studio 20. Why that is white is because it's outdated version. So these are the new versions of FL Studio. So the white one also works in this same way, but it's just that we don't have this option whereby we can click on effect type and stuff like that. To like make FL Studio know that okay, this plugin is an effect or a sense. We don't have that option in that FL Studio 20, 12 and 20, I guess. But this is 20.5, so in case you don't have 20.5, you can install it. It's a very nice upgrade for FL Studio. So I guess, and let me come back to my masterclass issue. Please support my mission. I beg. All right, so don't mind me, okay? Yeah. I hope you find this tutorial useful. Thank you very much. I'm X on the Beat. Please follow me on Instagram as X on the Beat, and or you can Google search my name X on the Beat. You find a lot of my jobs I've done. Thank you very much.